Hey everyone, Scott here, and today I want to go over a PPC strategy I use to help get more sales and to help improve my product ranking on Amazon. It involves finding long tail keywords that are often missed or overlooked during normal keyword research, but are generating our competition sales. We can then also target these profitable gold nugget keywords. I want to walk you through the methods I use to find these keywords, how to use them for Amazon PPC, and how to use them to help improve your organic ranking and your organic sales. If you're new to the channel, I've been selling private label products for over 5 years now and have done millions in dollars in revenue, and I still sell on Amazon right now. If you're interested in e-commerce or selling on Amazon, be sure to subscribe. I have a lot of great content on the way. And in the meantime, I also recommend after this video, checking out some of my past videos. There's things like product research, ranking campaigns, PPC strategies, different things like that I think could be super valuable. So with that said, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so here on the computer, I got my computer over here. But first off, what I want to go over is what are long tail keywords? They're longer and more specific keyword phrases that shoppers use, and they usually signify a higher buyer intent, meaning they are closer to knowing what they want in purchasing. An example of this would be someone on Amazon searching for dog leashes versus someone that's searching for a leather dog leash for large breeds. That would be an example of a long tail keyword. You can tell they have a little bit more of an idea of what they're looking for, and usually, like I said, a higher buyer intent, meaning they've already done some research and they already know what they're wanting to purchase. So the first step of this process is to find the long tail keywords we want to target. There are two methods I use to do this, and I'm going to share both of them with you. For this first one, I'm going to be using Helium 10, which has a keyword research tool for Amazon. You don't have to use Helium 10. I'm not paid for or represent Helium 10. I just like it. It's a good tool, and it also comes with a free Amazon course, which is a really good course, actually, probably better than most paid courses. So if you don't have Helium 10 though, you can use other ones managed by Stats. I think Seller.tools. There's a lot of other Amazon keyword research ones. You just want to make sure they have a tool called a reverse ASIN search, which means that you can put the ASIN of a product, that's the Amazon specific number for a product on Amazon, and it will pull up all the keywords that product is ranking for. So how we want to do this first method is we want to select around 5 or so products of our top selling competition. The reason why we want to do this is if they're selling a lot and they're selling the same type of product that I'm selling, then I want to know what keywords they're ranking for so I can target those keywords as well. Then we're going to take the ASIN of each product and do a reverse ASIN search. In Helium 10, they call the tool Cerebro. There's a few ways you can do this. You can actually just do it manually. Just go, search a major keyword. For this example, I'm going to be using lemon squeezer. And you could just search it and you kind of know who your competition is, who's the best selling competition, and select those products. Another way you can do it if you're using Helium 10 is you can go ahead and use the Helium 10 Chrome extension, and you can use X-Ray, which will pull up everything from the front page, and you can go ahead and sort it by sales, top sales, and you can just pick out some products that are similar to your product, then top sales. I usually like somewhere between, let's say like 5. If you have a really deep category, you can maybe even go to 10, but there's no hard rule about it. You can just go ahead and do, whatever you think is best for it. I'd recommend at least a few products. I kind of shoot for 5 or so. And then once we have all of our ASINs, we're gonna go ahead and do a reverse ASIN lookup. And I go ahead and put all of them in here at once so I can see all the keywords combined together. But if you're using a tool that isn't able to do this, you can actually just do it one by one. So if you just want to put in one ASIN and then go and look at the keywords for that one and then put in the next one and put in the next one, that's totally fine. You might run into some duplicate keywords, but you can just use a tool that will remove any duplicate keywords. So it's not a problem. But this is just a fast and easy, efficient way to do it. So once we have that, there's a couple filters that are important to put here. So the first thing I do is I put match type organic, because I'm only interested in organic search results. And I want a search volume of at least 1, because sometimes they'll pull up keywords. Since we're doing like longer tail keywords, they'll pull up keywords that have like 0 estimated search volume. So I want it to have at least 1. And then this important part here is I put 4 as the minimum word count. So I want keywords with at least 4 words. If you're in a category that has a lot of keywords or a lot of different types of keywords, you might even want to bump that up to 5. Because remember, we're looking for long tail keywords, not short, high volume keywords. So once we have that, again, in Helium 10, since I'm doing all these at once, I use the advanced rank filter. What this means is the 1 here means that at least one of the ASINs out of the 5 is ranked organically between positions 1 and 5. So at least one of the products is ranked organically at the top of the search results between 1 and 5. If you're doing this individually, just one keyword at a time, or one product at a time, you can come up here and just select position rank between 1 and 5. And then we come down here and you'll see all the keywords here. And the next thing to do is just go through here and pick out keywords that are relevant to your product that you think would be good to target with Amazon PPC. Some of these, I avoid brand name keywords. So if I see something that's like a brand name, like this Fresh Force citrus juicer, I don't include that one, but you just want to go through here and pick out any you think are relevant to your product. Now, depending on your product and the category, there could be tons of keywords. Some certain categories have lots of different types of keywords that can be used to found that product that are relevant, and other categories just have a handful of really core important keywords. So depending on your category, you might want to mess with the filters a little bit. So if you have a very broad, high volume type of keyword product, you go ahead and maybe raise the search volume so you don't have as many keywords to search through. And initially, you can always expand your targeting. Initially, I try to find less than 50 of these long tail keywords, and I'm trying to find long tail keywords that I haven't targeted or found already within my search, my previous keyword research. So if you watched my past videos about how to do keyword research for product launches and things like that, and how to find your competition's most valuable or most profitable keywords, the ones they're making the most sales on, then you already might have found some high volume keywords, but I'm looking for keywords that might not have thought of before. Like this one, for example, lemon squeezer for kitchen. Okay, this only has a 61 search volume. Let's see if we can find another one here. Extra large lemon squeezer. It sounds like it could be another good one. Again, these don't have high search volume, so I wouldn't have found these if I'm trying to find the keywords that my competition are making the most sales on, or if I'm looking for keywords to launch with and rank for initially. But once you're past that stage, you want to start expanding out your keywords so you can get more profitable keywords and really expand your reach out to these more kind of hidden keywords that can still all combined generate you a lot of sales. And once we have our keywords picked out, the next step would be set up our Amazon PPC campaign. But I want to quickly go over another method that I use to find these keywords, or at least to find products to research for these keywords. And what that method is, and tell me if you've ever had this before, let's say you have a competitor that's just selling really well or selling better than you, and yet they're not really ranked that well for the major keywords. Maybe they're bottom of page 1, maybe they're on page 2, or even page 3 for some of the major keywords that everyone else is ranked for, but yet they're still getting good sales or better sales than you. Well, what could be happening here is that they're ranking for just more lower volume keywords, but highly relevant type of keywords, these long tail keywords that we're trying to find. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll search some major keywords within the product category for that particular product, and I'll go down onto maybe bottom of page 1, page 2, even page 3, and I'll try to find products that are like my product that are selling well, but they're not ranking well. So I'm like, where are their sales coming from? And that's what we try to find. So this can be easier if you're using a product research tool. Like on this one, I can see right here, this is a Helium 10 extension. You can just go through here and you can see the BSR, their sales ranking for these different products. So it makes it easy to kind of scroll through, but you can do it manually as well, just by clicking on each product and seeing where they're ranking. Or maybe you already know your competition really well and you have some in mind already. They're like, I already have some ideas for products I want to go check for their keywords. So once you have those, you would just go back to Helium 10. And in this situation, usually it's just a handful of products, maybe just 1, 2, and then you can just put them in individually, set the position rank between 1 and 5, because you just want to see the ones that ranked up to the top for they're getting sales for, and go ahead and find this. Because sometimes you'll find a high volume keyword that you never thought of before that they're the only one ranking for, and none of the other competition's really ranking that well for, which is getting them a bunch of sales, which now you'll be able to find out and target in PPC. So the next step would be to set up our PPC campaigns. For this, we're going to be using a sponsored products campaign type. And for this, we're going to go ahead and select the daily budget. Just kind of depends on your own budget. You want to make sure that you're giving enough budget to be able to allow the keyword some clicks, but also it depends on your categories. Some products get 50-cent clicks, and other product categories get in the dollar clicks. So it just kind of depends on how much daily budget is needed. I'd say the bare minimum would be $10 a day, but depending on how many keywords you picked, it might be more realistic to do something like a $50 a day budget. Doesn't mean you'll spend $50 a day, but you want to give it enough room to breathe. So you also want to select manual targeting And then for the bid strategy, I just start with down only. When we get to the optimization section, I'll give you some insight on that as well. And then for targeting, we're going to choose keyword targeting. And then for the campaign setup, I like to do exact match, at least to start with. If you have a big budget, you want to target a lot of stuff, you can eventually work in a broad keyword campaign as well that you're targeting for these keywords. And you just negative exact out these keywords that you picked out, so you're not double duplicating your keywords in each campaign, but you can maybe find some other combinations of those long tail keywords. But to start out, I like to start with just exact match only. So you come in here, just take out these, and then you come here to enter list, and this is where you'd put your keywords that you found. And for the bid, you can just go ahead and start with suggested bid, but sometimes keywords don't have suggested bids, so you can just input like $1 to start with, or if you're familiar with your category, might be higher or lower than that. But if you just want a good kind of baseline, you can start with $1. And then you just come down here, you don't have to worry about negative targeting since you're doing exact match, and then we go ahead and launch the campaign. Now, if you have a lot of keywords, you might want to split the keywords, even though it's all going to be exact match. You might want to split the keywords into a couple different ad groups or even a couple different campaigns if you have a lot of keywords, somewhere between, I'd say keep it manageable, maybe less than 30 or less than 20 keywords per ad set or per campaign. Or if you really want to get into some micro targeting, you can maybe set it up to only 10 keywords per campaign or something like that, but that's a little more advanced. Keep it simple if you're just a beginner and try to keep it maybe like, let's say 25, 30 keywords or less per ad set or per campaign, but it's all going to be exact match. All right, so let's get into some tips for optimization here for your campaigns. The first thing is that if you're not getting a lot of impressions or no impressions, there's a couple things you can try here. The first thing to do would be just to make sure you're indexed for the keyword. Index means you're actually ranked or just show up in the search results at all. Because if you're not indexed, you're going to have a harder time showing up for PPC because Amazon doesn't think you're relevant for that product. And Helium 10 has a tool to check your indexing. I'm sure there's other tools as well. You can try, if you're not indexing, try adding some keywords from that keyword phrase into your bullet points, into your title, into your backend search terms. Just see where it fits and see if you can start indexing for it. Other than that, if you are indexed for it, you're just not getting impressions or not as much as you'd like. One possibility is that since it's a long tail keyword, there just might not be a lot of search volume for it, so keep that in mind. But what I do is I just keep raising the bid every day. I'll go and I'll look, I'll see where I'm at. If I'm getting impressions, I'll raise the bid. And then I'll go back each day, just keep raising the bid, maybe 10, 15% every single day until you start getting impressions and start getting clicks. Or if you just keep raising up, just don't do it, then that keyword might not be a workable one, which is fine because we're getting a ton of different keywords from this method, so you don't have to focus on just one. Then the other tip for optimization is that sometimes you'll have it that some keywords are higher volume than others, and they'll start getting a lot of the impressions and a lot of the clicks. And since all the keywords are sharing a budget, then some of the other keywords kind of get left out, or Amazon, for whatever reason, just doesn't show a lot of impressions for them. So if I see keywords that I think are good, I think are relevant, and are just not getting the number of impressions or no impressions, what I'll do first before just getting rid of those keywords is I'll pause those keywords in that campaign and I'll start a new campaign and I'll set it the same way, exact match and everything, except the one change I'll make is I'll set it to fixed bids. So what that does is it makes it so Amazon isn't lowering the bid on its own decision. It will put in the bid that you say that you want. And that can sometimes help stir up some by putting them into their own campaign and using fixed bids. That can go ahead and start jump-starting these keywords to get impressions. So I try that. And then after that, still not working, then I just forget those keywords. You can maybe test them out at a later point, but this time I just go ahead and focus on the ones that are working. And then you just manage the campaigns how you would, any other PPC campaign. If a keyword's getting good impressions, good sales, you might want to raise the bid to see if you can get even more sales from it. If it's getting no sales, a lot of clicks, no sales, go ahead and pause it and try lowering the bid or pausing it and turning it off. Just the standard stuff you normally would. But we're looking for those keywords that we weren't targeting for or didn't really think about before that are going to generate sales for us. So how this PPC method can help actually increase your organic ranking is that, one, by getting more sales for these different targeted keywords through the PPC, Amazon's going to start ranking your listing better organically for these because it's seeing you're more relevant, you're getting sales for these keywords. Also, if you find a keywords that are performing well and getting you sales, you might want to run some additional ranking strategies for those keywords to help improve your organic ranking. Sometimes it could be rebates or Google ads or whatever the different kind of most recent ranking methods are, depending on when you're watching this video. You can use those to help better boost your organic ranking. And if you do that for a lot of these long tail keywords, then that will help your overall sales, because even if you get a few sales from each of these different keywords all together, it's going to really add up and start making a difference for you. I hope this strategy helps you find some hidden profitable keywords you weren't targeting before. Even if a keyword brings in only a handful of sales a month, if you rank for a lot of these or targeting a lot of these with the PPC, then all of them together combined can make a big difference to your bottom line. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out some of my other videos like I mentioned before, and I'll see you in the next one.